Hi, Mrs. Brown. How was your week been?
Pretty good, pretty good. How's yours?
It's been really great. Thank you for asking. Good. So before we get into too much today, I just wanted to ask you a couple more personal questions just so we can get to know each other better.
That sounds all right.
Is that okay? All right, awesome. I just wanted to start with maybe how you were raised and what your parents did for you when you were younger.
Okay, okay. Wow, when I was raised, okay. Well, very traditional. Obviously, the way of the world now was much different when I was younger, much different from your generation. I worked a lot with my parents, worked, helping around, the rural area where I grew up in. I did a lot of work for my mom and for my family, for my dad. Very, very taught respect, installed a good work ethic, and to love my brothers and sisters and, my family, to always, put them first and put God first. So obviously Christianity was a big thing in my family. I always went to church twice a week at least. That was a large portion of my childhood was definitely in the church. Was definitely in the church and definitely being with my family and working with my family, my extended family as well. Always very close knit. We use each other as a support system. I could definitely say that.
Great.
A lot different than, the TV wasn't as big as a thing. Phones weren't that big of a thing. I mean, it was there, but it was like we watched TV every Friday and had Coke once a week, and it just wasn't as accelerated as I see the young people and even my own kids. My generation that's much different. But for the most part, I enjoyed my childhood.
Oh, good. So would you say you did the same thing for your children, or can I ask how you raised them?
Oh, well, again, I probably was a little bit more lenient than what I had to do, again, with the TV once a week, soda once a week. Obviously, my kids went past that. And obviously living in Dallas, it wasn't as country, so my kids, were in the city. There's always things to do. I guess as far as, wanting to be, in tune with the Lord and have a relationship with church, I tried. And my son, he stayed at it, but again, my daughter, not so, as I've told you before, not so much. She kind of strayed away. But I definitely tried to make that a part of my home and a part of their upbringing. Whippings, they got whippings and I got whippings. I did that for my kids as well. And respect, again, that's something that I learned that I did try to install in my children. Being respectful of their elders, things like that.
Okay. So then, would you say that while they were growing up, that religion was a big part?
Oh, yeah, I would say that it was a really fundamental part. Obviously there was things outside of the church, but a lot of my friends, a lot of their friends were surrounded by the church, a lot of activities for our week, again, twice a week, how I tried to make sure that they went twice a week as I did. Try to keep them involved with the youth ministries and, in the teen church and things like that. So I definitely tried to make involvement in church a part of their childhood, but after a certain point, obviously, it became their choice, but I did definitely, that was a big part.
So would you say that's one of your goals now, to keep religion part of you and your husband's life?
Oh, definitely. It will never stop being a part of me and my husband's life. Again, with my children, I can only have so much say, past them being 18.
Right.
But as far as me and my husband, yes, I mean, my husband is less mobile than obviously maybe he would like. So I don't put that stress on him, to try to get up and go to as many events that involve with the church as I do. But still being able to walk, I go to as many events for the church to support the church as I can.
Okay, so is that how you spend most of your spare time?
Yes, a lot of my time is devoted to the Lord outside of the church and in the church. Obviously, I do my own studying and I do my own reflections and all that in my home, but obviously actually being with fellow people, Christ-like people, I do make an active effort to, make those relationships stick with my church home and the people that, the friendships that I've made within my church.
Okay. So is that maybe a way that you relieve some stress in your life? Is that helpful?
Oh, I would definitely say my relationship with the Lord has been a stress alleviator, or at least has helped me, if not all the way, alleviated the stress, but definitely been the biggest source of hope, or of happiness for me. Outside my husband and my children, my family, the Lord has definitely supplied me.
Great. Okay, so what I've heard you say is that you grew up in a very religious, respectful home, and you tried to instill that in your children.
Yes.
And now that's still a very big part of your life, and
Yes.
sort of a goal for you is to keep that continuing in your life.
Yes, it is.
And it's a stress reliever.
Definitely.
So are there any other goals or stress relievers you have right now, or that you'd like to work on?
Definitely just what we've been talking about, finding a good ground with, myself, and taking care of my husband now that he's less mobile, but aside from, using church and my relationship with the Lord as an outlet, continuing to have relationships with those ladies I mentioned from church, and, just little things like knitting and dominoes and cards, just those types of things bring a little happiness to my day.
Great. So is that something you and your husband can still do together, cards and dominoes?
Yeah, we can still do that together. I'm kind of one up on him because he sometimes forget what we're doing or something, but majority of the time it's very enjoyable to do those things with my husband, yes.
Great. And then do you ever have the ladies over for a card night, or?
Definitely I do. Majority of the time it might be me getting them to stay after we just went to church or something like that, or they come a little bit early before we go to church as a group. But they are always, when they can, not every time, but when they can, take up a little game of cards with me, or a little game of dominoes. They will do that as a kindness of their heart, and I really do appreciate those times, and it does make me feel very happy.
That's great. That's wonderful. So you use card games and that sort of thing as stress relievers, and that sort of helps you and your husband stay a little bit closer?
Yeah, it truly is an outlet.
Equal terms, sort of?
Yeah, I would
Great.
say that.
Is there anything else that you would like to be able to do with him? Maybe just going outside, maybe to a park, something that could?
That would be nice, but just the amount of help that I would need to get there with him alone, probably not so much. But I mean, it would be wonderful. It would be wonderful to do that. Yes, but it is just with him, his mobilization is so much dependent on me that I feel like maybe a game of cards at the house is a little bit less stressful.
Okay, that's fine. So you do have ways that you can relieve stress. Is there anything else that you do for yourself to make things a little bit easier for you? You said knitting.
Knitting, my dice games, my dominoes, playing cards, going to church, and then every time I read the Bible, I find something new. So I try to. Even I've read the Bible multiple times, but I'm always rereading chapters and rereading verses to see what the Lord presents to me. So, and I actively do that, and I enjoy that. It's not a task, so
Good.
that's definitely something else.
Okay. Do you ever read the Bible to your husband?
Oh, sometimes I do. I wasn't thinking about that. That does include him. Yeah, we'll do that, or we'll listen to some Joel Osteen on the TV, so he can do that too. He can watch TV, so we sometimes watch some sermons on the TV.
Okay, awesome. So let's see, is there anything else that you wanted to maybe get out of these sessions besides some coping skills, and is there anything else that you really wanted to nail down?
Well, just been thinking about how hard it's been, getting him from the shower and getting him dressed, and I'm not complaining, but, it has been difficult.
Okay. So then, maybe you could use these coping strategies as a way to just sort of relieve some of that, and
I definitely should be trying to do that, because sometimes when I get those feelings of, feeling overwhelmed, feeling sad about my situation. Obviously, I want to just turn to the Lord, but
course.
sometimes I find myself just being so stressed by it that I just don't want to do nothing at all.
Are you able to call anyone?
Well, my son lives in Alaska,
Right.
so it's kind of hard calling him. But I've been calling my sister up in Dallas,
Good.
but she's as old as I am,
Mm-hmm.
so it's hard to talk to that old dude. But she's there.
That's good.
And
Is
definitely-
she supportive?
Yeah, I think she's supportive. She always asks me when I'ma die.
Oh.
So, but she just play like that. But she's supportive. But she can't come down, the way she likes because of her age. So we rarely get to visit face to face. Although people have been telling me about this Skype thing, but I don't think I'm a fool with that.
Yeah.
But she would be more helpful in person, but she just can't be. But the ladies at the church, I get to see them face to face. They've been real helpful, but they just don't have a connection like me and my sister.
Right. But they're still close friends, and they still sort of give you that hope back a little bit.
Yeah, I can agree and say that. Yeah, they do.
Okay. Is there anyone else in your life that you talk to?
My pastor occasionally. He can't talk to all of us all the time, but he has prayed with me, and I talk to my husband.
Yeah, of course.
I talk to my husband, but I'd like to talk to my daughter, but her situation I've been explaining. But I just when all else fails, I talk to the Lord.
Do you want to talk a little bit about your daughter?
Well, sometimes it makes me sad, but I know everything's happening for a reason.
Right.
But she just strayed away. Which can be disappointing.
How did she stray away? If you don't mind me asking.
She just just on them drugs.
Okay. How long has she been like that?
You probably would know better than I would. I know when she started thieving, but I don't know how long before it was like that. Because she was able to, I guess, hide it from me, or maybe I was just naive, or I don't know. And I just don't want to fail with her, fail with my husband the way I failed with her.
Okay, so you think that you failed how?
Just, I guess, always feeling like I could have done something more. So, that's why I can't, I don't want to let my husband go to a nursing home, because, while I'm still able to use my feet and my hands, I should do everything I can,
So you feel like putting them in a nursing home would be a failure on your part?
I
To
feel like,
take care of them?
yes. I feel like I wouldn't be doing as much as I could be doing, yes.
Okay. So even if you feel like you can't keep going and you don't have the strength, you still would prefer to take care of them yourself?
Well, I just promised him. And I just don't want to break my promises, and I don't want to fail at my marriage.
Have you talked to him about it recently?
Not so much. Try not to bring up things that are going to worry him because of his health. But it is something I think about a lot, yes.
Do you? Have you talked to anyone else about it?
Lord.
Okay.
Lord. I try not to complain about it. But, yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's a trying time. I do like coming to talk with you.
Well, good. I'm glad that helped. So, do you think that maybe talking to him about it would be something you want to do, or maybe I could help you to find the correct words?
To tell him what?
Just to talk about anything.
Okay.
Anything.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, guess I just feel like it's a bad idea to put him in a nursing home. I just would feel so bad.
Okay. Would it be as bad of a thing if you went with him?
You know, that's true. If we were together, as long as we were together, I could make sure nothing was happening bad to him.
Right.
But then, what about my home?
Yeah, that's true.
But you're right. I guess if it got so bad that I had to pick between my home and him, I would pick him.
Right.
But I guess I feel like I just got a little more years in me.
Okay. So while you still feel like you're strong enough,
Yeah.
you'd rather stay in your house.
Until stuff starts breaking.
Okay. Alright. So, let's see. So we've talked about some coping strategies for you and your husband, and ways to stay close to him, and maybe eventually bringing up the prospect of you both going to the nursing home together. Is there anything else you feel might be able to help?
I just wish they would just pay for home health for me,
That would be ideal.
for me and my husband.
Until then, or I shouldn't say until then, but there are some places that can give you a little bit of help. I wrote the list down. I can give it to you at the end of our session.
I appreciate that.
It's not full in-home care, but it's a little something that might be able to help you along and make your life a little bit easier.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course, of course. So, and you sure you don't want to talk about your daughter anymore or anything?
Well, you know, she just brings a lot of pain to my heart, a lot of disappointment. But you know, that's my child, so I can't write her off on nobody else. But I just sometimes get frustrated because I know that if she just if she just would have done right, you know, I could be having so much help from her.
Right.
I know my husband, he don't know any better right now, but me and her brother, we know, if he was here, he would be helping. But he's got a whole life set for him somewhere. And I can't expect him to come down and drop his life and his wife and his kids to, come take care of his daddy when I'm here and able,
Right.
So I just get real frustrated or disappointed, better said, with my daughter for just how she chose, to live her life. Because she could be helping me and her daddy right now, I gave my life to her. But, what can I do? What can I do? But it's disappointing, and it's painful to think of the what ifs and shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and what can you do?
It sounds really difficult to think about your daughter.
Yeah, brings some pain to my heart, but I pray about it.
Yeah.
I try to pray about it as much as I can.
Have you sought any help for her, maybe? Have you talked to the ladies about it?
Everybody that she helps, she steals from. She's a master manipulator. She'll act like she on the road for righteousness just so she can get in your house and steal all your stuff.
Okay. So you don't want to actively help her because you're afraid that she'll steal from you again?
Oh, I've actively helped her. She just don't have no intention but to get you out what's in your house for the pawn shop.
Okay.
Which, that's her choice, but I can't be losing my home because she's fiending.
Right.
But I would like to see her be a testimony one day, trust me. I speak life into her, but what can I say?
It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
So is there anything goal-wise you feel like we could do with your feelings about your daughter, or do you want to just let that lie?
The same things we talked about, what I need to do to, keep a positive mind about my husband. I just continue to pray for her and, hope, before my time is done off this earth or after or, that she'll come around at some point, so, that's all I can think of. I pray
Well,
about
it's good that
that.
you're hopeful.
Yeah, I try to be. I try to be.
Okay.
But I can't let my stress with her come on my husband. I still gotta take care of him, so
Right.
I just leave her be.
Okay. Okay. So, we're almost out of time. I just wanted to recap really quick.
Okay.
So you have some coping strategies to relieve the stress through, knitting or dominoes with your group and everything.
Mhm.
And you have some ways to talk to your husband and possibly talk to him eventually about maybe going to a nursing home. And you're have a positive outlook on your daughter.
Yeah.
For the most part, I know. And then, is there anything else you wanted to talk about today? Any other goals?
And you got me those resources, right?
Yes, ma'am. I do.
I think that's gonna help a lot.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's just been real nice getting to talk about how I feel, 'cause sometimes, with the church ladies and with my sister,
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want nobody feeling like I'm about to abandon my husband, so
Right.
I don't, say how much it takes out of me, and I don't say how hard it is on me, and, I don't admit to it.
You're
But-
keeping it inside rather than...
Yeah, but it sometimes can get real hard, but I just know it's the right thing to do, so I just,
Do you feel like those coping strategies we talked about will help with that a little bit?
I think reminding myself why I'm doing those coping strategies, and remembering to actually be happy in that moment. I think that's going to be real helpful.
Good, I'm glad to hear that. Wonderful. Well, if you don't have anything else, I think we're done for today.
Okay.
And it was wonderful talking to you again. And I'll see you next week, okay?
Okay.